Cheers. Okay, guys, let's talk about Big Gun. We'll go through the scaled version, we'll go through the intermediate version, and then we'll go through the RX version. Then we'll go through Jacks Are Better. Then we'll go through the complex, then we'll go through Jacks Are Better. We won't talk about the final, and we won't talk about the trail run. First things, so we have lane 6 set up. A quick discussion about the lane. A lane is comprised of a large pull-up section. So this is about a 6-foot section. And then the smaller pull-up section, this is about a 3.5 or 4-foot section, something like that. So that is a lane. This is lane 6, 5, 4, 3, and so on. We actually are not using the first 4-foot section, so we just need to keep that in mind. But everything will be taped off, so you guys will understand that. There are certain markings that are on the lanes. I'll send out the Visio diagrams to the group. They're pretty much complete. Blue tape marks where the lane starts and ends. You'll also see blue tape for the handstand walk stations, and these will also be used when the athletes are supposed to be in a particular box showing the rest of the competition floor at what point they are in the workout. We'll talk about that during the final when we're there. I think we did talk about that a little bit, perhaps, but on competition day. Anyways, handstand walk, they're broken up into 6-foot sections. There's also this first portion, this tape line. It's a foot in width. That's where the athletes must get their hands in for the first initial handstand walk. On the other side, it's easy to stay behind the line. They'll have enough room behind them. Here, with the wall, that's kind of difficult. We'll talk about that in a second. So anyways, that's the blue tape. Then you'll see the purple tape. The purple tape indicates athlete directionality. For example, this is the snatch and clean barbell. The arrow is pointing in this direction, and that's basically where the live stream will be. I set up the camera in a similar fashion rather than setting it up back here. But this is the way the athletes must face. So you'll see arrows pointing in those directions. On the pull-up rig, I didn't go and mark every single pull-up bar with a purple arrow. It just seemed kind of extraneous to me, so I didn't do that. But when the athletes are on the pull-up rig, and likewise when they're on the rings for ring rows, there are 3 teams doing ring rows in the scale division, they must be facing in this direction. So that is knee raises, toe to bar muscle ups for Big Gun, burpee chest to bar, and then, of course, ring rows. So the rings will be set up in the smaller section of the rig. Each athlete's height, there are 5 athletes. I think it's Joanne, Mike Schroeder, Andy, Brianna, and Paul Taylor, Punky Taylor. Those 5 individuals will be using rings. Therefore, their heights will be set up even before we get started. And Kalina will kind of go over that, and she'll help them set that up. For lanes that have 2 sets of rings, 4 ring rows, there will be 1 set up on this pull-up bar and 1 set up on this pull-up bar. Now, to get back to athlete directionality, they're coming down in this way. So their legs will be facing this direction and their head will be facing that direction. The only time they will be facing kind of away from the camera is on the dumbbell squats for Jacks Are Better. One of the athletes will be facing in this direction, and then, of course, on the skier. Likewise, too, on the deadlift bar for the scaled version of Jacks Are Better. Anyways, those are the purple arrows, athlete directionality. Then we have 2 other colors. They're a little tough to decipher from this video and from the lights that we have in the gym. If you get close to them, you will see the distinct contrast. And in fact, I'll do this for you guys now. This is the green tape. This is the yellow tape. If I put them side by side, you can most likely see that contrast. I'll walk in slow. You could definitely see it on the floor. And for the yellow tape, which is where the judges will be standing, it'll also be marked with a purple pen, and then it'll be marked basically what it's for. So you'll be able to decipher that. But anyways, green and yellow. So the yellow is where the judges will be standing. Those are marked with X's. And this is, we have a tight competition floor, and I won't go over all of this detail for every workout. This is specifically for big gun, and then the other ones we'll just get right into it. We have a tight competition floor. The lanes are only about 10 or 11 feet wide, right? Safety needs to be a concern. So if the judges are all in the same spot, it's uniform throughout the floor. I've thought about where the athletes may be running and moving around, where the barbells will be, where the dumbbells will be, where the adjacent lanes will be. That's also taken into consideration, the athletes and the judges in the adjacent lanes. So the idea is the X's are for your safety, and then it's also for uniformity for the live stream. So there'll be some uniformity throughout the competition floor. So those are the yellow X's. Yellow X's are judges' positioning. And then, of course, we have the green tape lines. That would be these guys here. That basically shows, and it's an indication to the athlete and then also the lane crews, where the barbells should be, where they should end up if they start to flutter around the floor. And you'll see, some things marked on the floor with the green tape. For example, this is the tandem deadlift and scaled deadlift. We have up here for our complex. But you'll see that. That's marked with green tape. That's where the barbell should be or a set of dumbbells should be. Purple arrows are athlete directionality. The yellow X's are for judges' positioning. And, of course, the blue tape is for lane demarcations and then also the handstand walk. All right, so let's get into the workout first for big gun. We'll talk about the scaled. Let me grab my paper. So big gun scaled. I know you guys came and we went over this once before, but I think kind of just running through the way it looks on the competition floor might help a little bit. And I'd appreciate if you guys kind of watch. And I'll try to make the next videos a little quicker. We won't go through all that detail. But big gun scaled is probably the most difficult workout. In terms of like judging, in terms of moving pieces, that sort of thing. So we've got the females start 3 clean any style. 7 calories on the skier, 18-foot handstand walk, or 3 wall climbs, or 54-foot bear crawl. And then the males kick off 3 snatch any style, 9 calories on the skier, and then the same thing, 18-foot handstand walk, or 3 wall climbs, or 54-foot bear crawl. That's segment 1. Then we pop into segment 2, which is 3 clean any style, 7 calories and 8 pull-ups or 16 ring rows. This is the females. And then 3 snatch any style, 9 calories and 8 pull-ups and 16 ring rows. Okay, so we'll just run through this really quick. Now, actually, let me grab a cone. So we'll have a number of cones out on the lanes, and each lane will be marked, obviously, with the lane tape. But then also some caution tape at the very end of the lane. And that's more or less for crowd control, so folks don't meander into the lane. So, judges' first position, okay? Very important. Again, this is for uniformity. You will be standing here, all right? So it's marked with an X. Down the line, we will be standing here. This is before the call, the 3, 2, 1, go call. One of us will yell, judges ready. At that point, you will raise your hand, signifying you are ready. One of us will most likely yell, clean our eye, most likely yell, athletes ready. And at that point, you can put your hand down. If you don't remember to do that, that's fine. But the idea is that you're standing in judges' first position. It's also your first position to judge the cleans, okay? So it's marked here. It says snatch clean on the X. So judges' first position, right? Athletes are down by the cone. 3, 2, 1, go. The female athlete's going to run up and do her cleans. She's going to do 3, and you're also going to judge from this position, right? So the idea is, like I said, this won't be here. The idea is, like I said, that it's for your safety, because don't forget, there will be a barbell here. If you're in lane 6, there's a barbell right there for the athletes in lane 5. So the idea is that you're kind of staying in tight to the rig. And that's, again, for a couple things. Number one, for your safety, because the rig always acts as a barrier for any barbells or things sliding around. Number two, the uprights are already in place and they're static, they're not moving. So in terms of the live feed, right, there's nothing we can do about this. You may as well just kind of tuck in behind it if you can. Now, we're not going to be able to keep you guys out of the live feed. I mean, you're just going to be around the floor. That's the way it is, right? Okay, so for the snatches, the cleans for the females, it's 3 cleans, right? Now, I'd like you guys, if possible, to do one of 2 things, or both, in any opportunity where you can. If you can manage one of these while keeping your extremities in your current lane, do that, right? That's okay. Switching legs, or if you can't do that, it's perfectly fine. On one of the ones, I probably will try to require it because you'll be in the crowd's view. But the idea is again, you're kind of like trying to minimize yourself, and we're showing, off the athletes, and also trying to keep yourself safe. If you're standing up, no problem. That's perfectly fine as well. In fact, again, if you can't get down to one knee, not a problem at all. What I would like you guys to do, and this is for the spectators, for the live stream, but also for Kalina and I, when we're walking around the floor, because I'll be trying to take photographs and she'll be the head judge, is use your hand signals. Now, this is tough to remember. Some of you guys have judged before, some of you guys have not, but the idea is when there are 5 reps left, you're signaling that. So if it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? You can just do that with a hand signal. You can do that with your fingers. If you can't do that and you don't want to count down, but there's 5 reps left, you can always just raise a fist or raise a hand. And that's just signifying to the crowd, to the spectators, to the live stream that there's 5 or less reps, right? So in this case, you'd be starting with 3, 1 clean, 2, 1, boom, they're done, okay? So the athlete now will run over to the skier, 7 calories for the scaled. Keep in mind that the athlete will probably have to meander a little bit through rings. Say if it's Joanne or Punky, they may take a different route from this barbell. They may run through the larger portion of the rig, but there will be something here that's kind of blocking their view from just running past. For the intermediate and RX divisions, we won't need to worry about that. But just be mindful that the athlete may be rushing past you to get to the skier, and they may be taking that route inside the larger portion of the rig. Now, the other athlete should have set up the skier for them already, right? So they're going to hop on the skier and they're going to start to ski. This one, we're not going to be able to stay out of the live feed's way. But I have an X marked here, skier, and you're just going to be watching the monitor for the athlete's calories, right? Now, this is my vantage point. I would be able to see this just fine. If you have to kind of move over a little bit to make sure you've got a bird's eye view, feel free to do that. But you should be able to see the monitor from this yellow X. So anyways, they finished their 7 calories on the ski. Now it's time for the handstand walk. Let's do the handstand walk first. A couple scalers will be doing the handstand walk. So they must start within the box. Their fingertips can touch this blue tape. They can start anywhere behind the box. As Kalina was saying, they cannot have one hand inside the box and one hand over. That is a no rep. If their fingertips cross over the tape, that is a no rep as well. They got to keep both hands inside the box or both hands before the box. Just keep that in mind. So walk with them on the handstand walk. You're just going to walk. You're just going to walk with them. Walk with them. Remember, you're probably going to have to meander some rings. There might be some rings hanging here for ring rows. That's okay. Just be mindful of that. And they finish 18 feet. That's the end of their segment. They will run back and tag their partner, right? So, if they just give a little tap, if they give an audible tap, slap of the hand, it doesn't matter. Just try to make sure they touch. If they don't, big deal. What we're trying not to do is we don't want one athlete finishing her handstand walk all the way down there and then the other athlete's already running off and getting to their barbell. That should be a no rep. You should call them back and say, no, you got to slap 5, touch the cone, make sure your hand's on the cone before your partner, relinquishes the lane floor to you. Okay. So then so that's the handstand walk. Same thing with the bear crawl. They'll just do 1. This is your 18 feet for 1 rep. They'll turn around, all 4 extremities, 18 feet for another rep. Turn around, all 4 extremities, 18 feet, right? And then they'll be coming back. Now with the bear crawl, same deal. If they get their hands inside the box, that's fine, right? Over the box, that's not fine. So we'll keep the same standard for the handstand walkers and the bear crawlers. You know, and I haven't discussed that with Kalina yet. She may say no, they got to be behind the first blue line. But I'm assuming that's going to be okay, that they can get their hands in the box. Wall climbs, they're just staying here, right? And you guys know the standard. They're getting their hands on this blue tape. That's 10 inches away from the wall here. Okay, so that's the segment there for the females. Male's going to do the same thing. They slap 5. So you're going to, you know, if the person's on wall climbs, oh, you know what? I didn't put a yellow X down for the wall climbs. Okay, so we've got handstand walk and bear crawl. I will make sure I put a yellow X down for the wall climbs, right? It'll probably be basically in this segment here, I would think, just because you'll have a vantage point at that point. So I'll just make sure I mark that, okay? Let me grab tape. Just make sure I get that done. All right. Okay. So now they've slapped 5. You're going to have